Now, KENS 5 Eyewitness News at 6.
Good evening. I'm Chris Maru. Sarah Lucetto has the evening off. Disturbing and disgusting. A male registered nurse arrested this afternoon accused of sexually assaulting a patient at a hospital while the patient was under anesthesia. The FBI says the assault occurred at Wilford Hall Medical Center on Lackland Air Force Base. Amanda Stangelis is live with the latest. Amanda?
Well, Chris, just a little while ago, this man did post bond. He was released from jail here. We can also tell you that this nurse was not in the military. He was contracted by the hospital as a nurse. But either way, the FBI says this is pretty sick. For a woman lying in a hospital bed, trusting she's there to get the medical help she needed, it's the unthinkable. The U.S. Marshal's Office says a 36-year-old male nurse named Craig Allen Beard went into her room, took her hand and put it on his private areas, then touched her breast. All the while knowing both that she was physically incapable of declining participation and physically incapable of communicating unwillingness. Later, to gratify his sexual desire, he photographed and visually recorded the victim while she was in a private dressing room. Little is being released about how Beard was caught, but a federal grand jury knew enough to indict him on 2 counts of abusive sexual contact and 1 count of improper photography. The FBI arrested Beard this afternoon. As for the woman they say was sexually violated by the nurse, it's unclear how she's doing now. Now, Wilford Hall Medical Center released a statement just a little while ago saying that Beard has been terminated and that they are not aware of any other victims. Beard is expected to be arraigned later this week. Reporting live, Amanda Stangelis, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.
Thanks, Amanda. Emotional testimony today from the family of a retired San Antonio teacher killed during a botched burglary.
A day doesn't go by. I don't miss her. We were best friends.
Rhodes' sister, Penelope, who testified today at the sentencing of Jonathan Depew. Last week, a jury found him guilty of capital murder. Alita Rhodes was shot 2 years ago after walking into her house while it was being burglarized. Today, Penelope talked about what life is like without her sister.
You know, you just want to pick up the phone and say, "Oh, Alita, guess what Mom did today?" And you can't do it. So I haven't quit crying for a year and a half. I'm so sorry.
Alita used to take care of her ailing mother here in San Antonio. Since her death, her sister has moved her mother to Florida to take care of her. While San Antonio hasn't hit mandatory water restrictions yet, the Edwards Aquifer Authority is putting the pressure on water utilities to cut back. Today, the Aquifer Authority declared Stage 1 of its critical period management plan. Basically, that means Saws and Bear Met must reduce their withdrawals from the aquifer by 20%. How those utilities do that, though, is up to them, and both say they have enough reserves to avoid mandatory restrictions for the customers until the aquifer reaches the traditional level of 650. Comal County is following the leads of Bexar and Guadalupe counties. Today, the county judge, Danny Shields, signed a local disaster declaration that will be in effect for the next 60 hours and bans the sale, use, and possession of fireworks. Comal County now hopes the governor will extend the order through the 4th of July holiday. Hit again, not by taggers, but by stickers. Today, a desperate plea from a Southside pastor looking for perhaps divine intervention. His church on East South Cross continues to be the target of vandals. Just 2 weeks ago, KENS 5 reported the problem, but now it's getting worse. Selena Hernandez joins us live with more. Selena?
Chris, it seems that this poor church cannot catch a break. If it isn't spray paint, then it's stickers. Now the pastor is worried if this vandalism continues, then his services to the community may suffer.
These are where people come to worship God, and to violate that is to violate the people.
A house of worship attracting more than just those looking for prayer.
And they came back. I don't know if it was because it was a new clean slate or what they were trying to prove, but all it's doing is just, again, hurting the church.
Harlandale Baptist Church has been the target of taggers in the past. But today, after a week of silence, Pastor Dan Trevino strolled in to find this: sticker shock.
It's getting out of control.
Stickers bearing believed gang symbols slapped on the walls and signage around the church. Broken windows, even an apparent early 4th celebration. Fireworks littered the grounds, the burn marks still evident on the pavement and on the ceiling.
The concern that they could have burned the church down with these fireworks.
As the evidence is gathered and prints collected,
We're starting to have to look at, you know, where we're going to have to take the money from to do the damage control here.
This man of God preaches forgiveness and righteousness as the cost to keep up with the vandals is weighing heavy on his church.
As a church, yes, we will prosecute.
And it is a felony to deface church property. We're live on the Northwest Side. Selena Hernandez, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.
Thanks, Selena. San Antonio city and business leaders spent the day meeting with officials at the Pentagon as part of their annual SA to D.C. trip. One thing they're discussing, a program that lets cities buy up land around military installations paid for by the Department of Defense. Of course, this all related to the controversy over development near Camp Bullis and the protection of the endangered golden-cheeked warbler. The undeveloped land around the base could then be turned into parks. 40 families in a mobile home park sweating it out today. Their electricity turned off. That may be the least of their problems. Some fear they could be electrocuted if things don't get better. Karen Grace explains.
This mobile home park in Balcones Heights has lines sprawled across the grass, the result of an accident yesterday.
He knocked it down because he was reversing. Code compliance came by and he told us that he's going to shut the power off.
Today, residents in the 4300 block of Fredericksburg fear this mishap could cost them their health.
It's too hot. I mean, it gets 100 degrees in here. And these family trailers get 110, 120.
I feel sorry for the other people because everybody was nervous. I mean, there's people that don't have money to go somewhere else.
Get the repair work that they require.
Arthur Lefton manages the property. He says the city is trying to paint him out to be a slumlord.
Electrician is here that did the repair work.
But says he's fixed everything they've cited him for, when told that these low power lines could pose a deadly threat.
Do you think that somebody could get electrocuted because of those lines?
No, our electrician is here. Would you like to ask him?
Those wires are really, really low.
Yeah, a lot of it needs to be upgraded, but you know, we have to go in stages to get this repaired. We can't do it all at one time.
And turning that power off is ridiculous. You know, that's inhumane.
In Balcones Heights, Karen Grace, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.
We contacted the mayor of Balcones Heights, who says code compliance inspected the property after yesterday's accident and found other loose and exposed wires that must be fixed. Both she and CPS say it is the property owner's responsibility to correct those public safety hazards, just as it would be at your home. The 2007-2008 school year may just have ended, but Northside District's already looking toward next year, and they need about 50 more part-time school bus drivers. The district is holding a job fair tomorrow and Wednesday at the Northside Activity Center on Culebra from 9 until 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. The job includes paid training, holidays, and benefits. Starting pay $11.37 an hour. Still to come on Eyewitness News, a state-of-the-art facility on wheels, a mobile hospital that could help Texans during disasters, but there is an obstacle to overcome. Plus the latest on a deadly van accident that sent 13 people to local hospitals.
After a few thunderstorms over the weekend, dry weather returns and the aquifer going back down. Let's get a checkup on that. 658.5 down almost a half a foot, but still a ways away from 650. And 650, a popular number today for your pollen count. That's where mold is. We'll talk about that 7-day forecast coming up.
Closed captioning brought to you by Worldwide Pest Control, your KENS 5 SA Pros specialist, locally owned and operated since 1985.
DPS investigators believe a blowout is to blame for a deadly crash southwest of San Antonio. The accident happened around 3 this morning near Natalia. The 15-passenger van was carrying 15 people on their way to a vacation in Mexico. DPS says it went into the median after the blowout and flipped over. A 55-year-old man and 15-year-old boy were killed. 13 others, mostly from the Fort Worth area, were taken to University Hospital here in San Antonio. An adult and child remain in the ICU, but 11 others at least are in stable condition. It's got everything you'd see in a regular hospital, only it can go anywhere. Today, local, state, and federal officials, along with members of the medical community, toured the state-of-the-art mobile hospital. University Health System is hoping the state will pitch in to help buy the $5.3 million facility. Med 1 can handle everything but open heart surgery and neurosurgery.
After 2 minutes inside of this facility, you'll forget that you're not standing in a standard hospital.
The original Carolinas Med 1 hospital responded to Hurricane Katrina and is currently helping out an Indiana hospital affected by floods in the Midwest. Up next, more people handing their pets over to local animal shelters. What may be to blame for that? And a driver makes a drive-through out of a Shipley's donut shop, sending several people to a hospital.
Chrysler, Dodge, and Jeep are giving you relief at the pump.
We can go anywhere in our Jeep Patriot.
We can take that weekend getaway in our Dodge Journey. We're going on our summer vacation in our Chrysler Town.
KENS 5 Eyewitness News this morning. Weekday morning starting at 5 a.m.
These days, one thing matters when it comes to driving, this number. With an EPA estimated 30 miles per gallon highway, this Pontiac G6 has better fuel efficiency than this Mazda 6. Not to mention it has a range of up to 480 highway miles, which means you won't be stopping here again anytime soon. What's the point? Less pumping, more driving.
Now get 0% APR financing for 60 months on a new 2008 Pontiac G6. See your local Pontiac dealer today.
Working right now in the newsroom, human smuggling becoming a growing problem in San Antonio. We're live at 10. Then what started as a normal stop suddenly turns deadly. A gun battle on the freeway caught on tape. Plus, is that polygamous cult responsible for torching the governor's mansion? KENS 5 uncovers shocking new information. And the ad could read, "We'll trade 4 legs for 2 wheels." One couple desperate to save money offers up their puppy for gas. Tonight at 10 on KENS 5. A Houston area Shipley's Donuts turned into a drive-through. Apparently it happened at night. A white Nissan crashed into the donut shop this morning, and it didn't just hit the store. You saw it there for about a second. It went all the way in. 4 people hurt, including a worker, 2 customers, and yeah, the guy driving the car. A driver wanted on an out-of-state warrant. Did I do something wrong? Should I be here? Here we go. Is behind bars in Houston after leading police on a high-speed chase. Bango! Police trying to pull the suspect over for a seatbelt violation. He wasn't having any of it. Officers chased the 2-door vehicle for about a half an hour. You saw how it all ended. The guy was taken into custody. With the economy the way it is, many budgets have gone to the dogs, and man's best friend seems to be a financial liability. What happens when you're too poor to care for your pets? Jonathan Betts, rhymes with pets, says the story.
The housing crisis hit John Weaver hard, but it may be hitting his cat, Cody, harder.
Let's go.
He gave up the pet he's owned for 10 years Friday. Since his employer, a mortgage company, shut down and Weaver lost his job, he can no longer afford his pet's medical bills.
The money I'd have to put into him would be too much for me to handle right now.
Across North Texas, the number of pets dropped off at shelters has soared in recent months.
We just run out of room. That's the problem. You know, you can only have so many animals, and you know, sometimes there's just not enough homes for them all, and unfortunately, you know, euthanasia has to be done.
So many animals, some shelters have stopped accepting them. Many are heavily promoting adoptions.
It depends on what you want to give up. You know, give up something else in order to save one of them.
Sparky! At the James house, Sparky's hard to miss, something Trinice James didn't fully appreciate until after she gave him up this week.
It was like he was getting kind of expensive, as far as the funds.
But the next day, guilt drove her to get Sparky back. Her family feels he's worth the cost.
We just have to cut back on our wants because we love him. We love him.
One happy reunion, while so many others are being forced apart.
Again, Jonathan Betts reporting. Now, animal care services here in San Antonio, that report was from Plano. Here, they say they've seen a 15% increase in animal intake. Many pet owners say they can't afford to keep their pets anymore.
And now, your Viper 5 forecast.
And if you have pets, you want to take care of them on a day like today, another day with blazing heat out there. Although it was a relatively cooler one out there, it didn't feel like it, but we made it up to 100 yesterday. Today we were in the upper 90s once again. We have a few fair weather clouds out there, a nice shot downtown. As a matter of fact, it got a little bit cloudy earlier this afternoon, but now a lot of that action has broken up. Let's talk one more time about the weather stats. We've been having pretty nice temperatures in the overnights, and that's been good, especially because energy prices, gas prices are so high. We get the temperatures down into the low 70s. You don't have to crank out the air conditioner quite as much overnight, but during the daytime, certainly 97 the unofficial high. It'll probably be 98, and once again, that was relatively cooler compared to where we've been the past few days. 88 right now in Goliad. That's not bad at all. 97 at Sac, 93 at Fair Oaks. The winds are kind of variable right now, mainly out of the southeast, trying to bring in some Gulf moisture, and we've had a couple of isolated showers out to places like Victoria, but predominantly a dry day. 99 the high in Del Rio, 104 in Laredo, and 97 both in San Antonio and Austin as well. The dew points, though, are down, so it's actually not a hot, sticky day. It's kind of a hot and dry day. Dew point of 54 this time of day and this time of year. That is an awesome dew point. Can't believe I just said an awesome dew point, but it feels really good, though. That's a low, dry, and comfortable number. Now, getting a look around the entire Lone Star State, same pattern as high pressure churns everything clockwise. You see a couple of storms. You look right around Victoria, a couple of those late-day sea breeze storms trying to move inland, getting into the extreme eastern portion of our viewing area, but not making it for the most part. And more disturbed weather coming out of the Four Corners region. A lot of that looks like it's going to stay north, but we are going to leave in a small chance for rain tomorrow and the day after that as well, as a big subtropical ridge works its way in, and that's going to give us more heat and humidity. That's unfortunate because a few days ago it looked like this was going to be a cooler week with highs only in the low to mid 90s, but no, it's not looking that way anymore. We've got that warm front to the north. That's not going to help the situation at all. That's just going to make things a little bit warmer, but not that much in the way of a trigger, so not that much in the way of rain either. Hot and dry this evening, 94 down to 84 with partly cloudy skies. Then for the overnight, isn't this a nice graphic? The water and everything. I love this graphic. 73, that's the low temperature under partly cloudy skies. Then for tomorrow, 97. Of course, it feels a little bit warmer than that, and an isolated thunderstorm cannot be ruled out. Same thing goes for Wednesday, and then the rest of the work week, things are still warm in the upper 90s. We may have another rain chance come this weekend, but again, aquifer went up the past couple days. That's good news.
Yeah, a little bit of good news. Former Longhorn Cedric Benson makes a court appearance. Hear what the judge had to say next.
If this is regular TV, this is high-definition TV. And it never looked so good. KENS 5 Eyewitness News comes out of the box. San Antonio's first high-definition newscast, premiering June 30th. Now, KENS 5 Sports.
You know, that's a decision, you know, I think one of the greatest coaches of all times make, for the simple fact is we done won 4 championships in the last, 7, 8 years. So he's been making good decisions all this time, so I'm quite sure he's going to make a good one.
That's the Iceman, George Gervin, showing plenty of intelligence when asked today what he thought the Spurs should do this offseason. His answer, as you heard, leave it to Pop. By the way, the draft will be held this Thursday. Well, one decision Pop did not have to make was the roster for this year's Olympic team. That decision fell to Duke head coach Mike Krzyzewski. As expected, the squad is led by the NBA's leading scorer and its most valuable player, respectively LeBron James and Kobe Bryant. Now, Dwayne Wade and Carmelo Anthony, they were on that 2004 team. Remember that? Had a very disappointing bronze finish, so they're looking for bigger and better things this time around, and they're also relieved now that the roster is set.
There's a lot of speculation over the last couple of weeks of who's going to make it, who's not going to make it. But you know, now we can put all that behind us, and you know, we can now concentrate and focus on 88-08, the year that everybody's been waiting on.
All right, here's the rest of the roster very quickly if you go through that. There it is. Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Carmelo Anthony, and New Orleans' Chris Paul. Change that full screen. You'll see the other 5, Dwight Howard, Chris Bosh, Carlos Boozer, Darren Williams, and Jason Kidd. And the last 2 are Michael Redd and Tayshaun Prince. Well, Cedric Benson had a court date today in Austin. Former Texas Longhorn and Chicago Bear was there for a pre-trial hearing. Now, the judge ordered Benson to install an ignition lock breath tester within 72 hours. It's a condition for his bail today. Now, apparently, though, it's a common order for defendants facing multiple DUI charges. Now, Benson was arrested for boating under the influence back early in May and then driving under the influence a few weeks later. And day 1 of Wimbledon is in the books. No major surprises. Roger Federer, he was an easy winner on day 1, as was Serena Williams. And we'll have a lot more on Wimbledon coming up for you tonight at 10. And we'll be right back.
Someday, being on top of your money. Someday, financial simplicity.
Yes!
Someday, no more guessing.
Sorry.
Today, get smarter online banking tools free with Wells Fargo Free Checking. Seize your someday. Wells Fargo.
Hi, I'm John Ewald.
A few familiar faces from KENS TV participating in the Juneteenth golf tournament that Joe mentioned earlier. Paul Morellis, Bill Taylor, look at Paul, like he actually can play, and Barry Davis out at the Fair Oaks Golf Club. The tournament raises money for the Juneteenth Commission, Davis Scott YMCA, and the San Antonio Junior Golf Tournament. Last year they raised $30,000, none of our people in any danger of winning. That's Eyewitness News at 6. For the late-breaking news, weather, and traffic, log on to the KENS 5 website, mysa.com. We'll see you back here at 10.
KENS 5 is a port of BMO listed on the New York Stock Exchange as BLC. Help keep seniors cool with KENS 5's Protect Cool. Donate a new box fan at any San Antonio fire station. Brought to you by the City of San Antonio, Gilman Honda, and by KENS 5.
During Toyota's lifetime